Okay, live and dangerous. Alan 49, good evening. Kenneth Scott, Charles Stuamai. Yeah, okay, fine. We'll call you Pork Pie Pete. Hi from Miami. Okay. So live streams on. It's Monday. It's Valentine's Day. I'm not romantic, so it doesn't mean anything to me. Here we go, and this is a shanty. A sari or whatever it's called. Still not sure about the drinking alcohol on live streams, but never mind. Okay, good to see you all. 7 people watching right now. Good evening, everybody. Let's get that off there. Okay, here we are. Patriots one. Is beer still 40 baht in 7-Eleven? Not really. I suppose you can get 4 little. You can get 4 little. What do we call it? Singers for about 160 baht. So yeah, other beer is a little bit more of price. And Asahi, this is a 490 milliliter can. This is what is this? This is about. I think it's about 55 baht or something like that out of the 7. Weisper, hi Ed, new subscriber here. Thank you. Nice to hear from you. Delboy K, hi Ed from Florida, Way of Ireland. Sean the Prawn, good evening. Alan 49, just got from work, Ed. Gonna chill and look in. Cheers, mate. Hope you've had a good day. Dave Litch Whitey, hi Ed, just having brekkies. Brekkies. Now, who's having brekkies at this time of day? It's 5 o'clock in England. It's probably. Well, it must be late morning or early afternoon in America, I suppose. Oh, put another little one. I like to pour half of my beer here and then put the other half in the fridge. I'm going to put the other half in the fridge. Oh, Jesus. Reborn Itsy and Bitsy, Robert Wells, Cash Singh, Dexy Enormous, Fanny on my face. Ed, go to Panama. Fanny on my Ed, go to Panama. Not really, no. I think I'm a bit far away from Panama right now. It's not on the menu. Okay, let's see. Where are we now? Sean the Prawn. Willie Barnes, hi Eddie. 29, hello Eddie. Dingo, hi Eddie. It's shite in the UK. Okay, fair enough. Hi Eddie, you look good the other day on NDTV. Thank you for that. Okay, now Diamond Hand. Hi Steady, you look good the other day on NDTV. Well, that was a most pleasurable experience. I mean, for those who've seen it last night, I was on NDTV, Nick's show, Nick and Martin and the gang at the A7 DJ bar down Surrey 7 in Battaya, and it was bloody good. What a good night that was. Have a look at their stream from last night if you don't believe me. Well, I'm sure that you do believe me, but the fact is they had the Elton John performer on. It's him, something or other, and he was so enthusiastic. You may well have seen him on other YouTube videos, but he was a really, as we say where I come from, he was a good turn, a damn good turn. You know, really entertaining stuff. And I must admit, when I sat there ready for that interview, and Nick's setup is really quite phenomenal. It's very, very intricate. He's got all kinds of high-tech gear and everything. It's very, very professionally done. And I must admit, when I was sitting there in that interview, I thought, I've never done nothing like this before. It's not the same as a live stream on here. Because whenever I bring a guest on here and say, invite you onto my live stream, I always make it clear to the guest that there's going to be no personal, no embarrassing questions. And I think that's a good line. It puts them at ease. I said to Nick beforehand, I said, I look forward to the interview, but no Jeremy Paxman, none of that stuff. And Nick was cool. The questions he asked me were very, very straightforward, and it went well. It went well. It was a really, really good night. Martin McCormick, hi Eddie, hope you're enjoying the sunny weather. 7,000 visitors have visited. We had a bit of rain today, and well, I really, for the last couple of days, I've wanted to go down to beaches and maybe make a few vlogs and do other things. But the problem is that the problem is it's been a bit of rain. You can't go to beaches when it's raining, especially if you're going there for a purpose. Crypto Chris Card, good evening. Scrotty Moore, Bobby Webb, Andrew Reynolds, Asif Sheikh, Andy Milner, Pal555, Ivan, Damon. Lovely to hear from all you guys. Neil Fleet, Anders Bergman, Crispy 1963. Neil Fleet is in the Gambia again. That guy likes the Gambia. He really, really, really likes it. There must be something good about the Gambia. Got to give that a try sometime. Morris, that doesn't look like LK Metropole. No, it's a hotel room, that's why. Okay, Paul T17, hi Ed, back from sunny Australia. 2-9, yeah, okay. Peter Mack, Vietnam is relaxing tourist restrictions. Now, this is basically what I want to talk about tonight. Now, it seems all of these countries, one by one, are starting to open. Cambodia opened a couple of months ago, I think. And, you know, I don't hear that many people going there. But, you know, I wouldn't mind going there. I had a flight booked for that place, which cancelled. Philippines announced opening the other week. That's good news. And now Vietnam is opening from tomorrow. All the flights are going to be resumed, apparently, from everywhere. So what's Vietnam going to look like? Well, for me personally, Vietnam will not be on the menu this year for two reasons. Firstly, I think if it's opening tomorrow and they're resuming flights and everything, I think it'll take a while for it to really, really get back up and running. I mean, last time I seen Vietnam, places like Bui Vien Street in Saigon, they were looking, that place was looking more like Las Vegas these days, all the bright lights all over the place. And if they've been really closed for the last couple of years, it'll take quite a while for them to get up and running again. The other reason that I wouldn't be tempted to go to Vietnam is simply before the pandemic, I spent quite a bit of time in Vietnam. I've done a couple of visits to Vietnam. And, you know, for that winter. So I think I've got enough videos on my list for all of that. Philip Dale, thanks for that comment. Good to see you, Eddie. Thanks for, I'm going to put that one on the screen. Philip Dale, see you, Eddie. Thanks for all your honest info on travel, etc. Must appreciate it. Absolutely. Honesty is the best policy. Absolutely, mate. Okay, so let me see. Richard, nice to hear from you. Canary spreads his wings. Saw you at the Hacienda, Eddie. Never knew about that place. We'll visit for sure. The Hacienda, do you mean you were there or you seen it on TV? Yeah, I've made 2 appearances, haven't I, this week on Nick's show. There was one on the Hacienda a few nights ago where it was sort of like a couple of, a lady either side of it. It was a bit of a setup there. It was good fun. And last night at the A7 bar, and I really, really enjoyed it. And take my hat off to Nick. He's got a great show going on there. Really, really great show. We'll mention that in a moment. Scrotty and Moore, will you move to Cambodia? I don't know. I really, really don't know. I don't know. I haven't got a clue where I'm going to move to. Whether I've moved to Thailand, Cambodia, or where. I really, really don't know. It depends how things pan out over the next couple of years, really. But Cambodia's a great country. The Lost King of Scotland. The Lost King of Scotland. Okay, we'll mention the NDTV stream once again. Give Nick a good shout out. The Lost King of Scotland. The NDTV TVI stream looked like a professional TV show. Absolutely, that's the way it looked to me. And to be honest with you, I liked that show when it was airing last year. And I'd say one of the reasons why I liked that show, to watch it when it was back in the UK, because it's a strange reason, but late night television or all night TV in the UK is actually not that old. It only really came about in the 1990s. Before that, we only had 3 or 4 channels and they all finished at midnight. It was only the early 90s that TV got a bit braver in the UK and they started putting on some sort of light-hearted entertainment shows specifically for the night owls. And there was a couple of shows like NDTV's TFI show I recall, and I don't mean that Chris Evans thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about other shows which I can't remember the name of. But in the early hours of the morning, about 3:00, there was a couple of shows on ITV which were a bit like that. And for the night owls, they were just the kind of thing to watch at 3:00 in the morning. And that's why I like that show. That's why I liked it. It was great to be a part of it. Really, really was. And what Nick does, I mean, he's very, very professional. I mean, it may look easy, but believe me, what he does, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. So good for him anyway. Let's see. Ed, Alan 49. Ed, when you booked your trip to Thailand, did you book a return flight? I did book a return flight. My return goes around about the beginning of April or something like that, back to the UK. But I'm not sure I'm going to be on it. I think I might have to cancel that. I don't know what's going to happen. I know we've said this many times before. But if this pandemic has taught us anything, is that you can't really plan. You can't really plan next month or can't even plan next week. You just don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Brian Street. Okay, here we go. Brian Street. Oi, enjoy the journey. Happy 65th to me. Well, happy 65th to you anyway, Brian. It's a bloody good name, that Brian Street. That name sounds like an actor from the from the 60s or whatever. Good name, that Brian Street. Anyway, happy 65th birthday. Anyway, good for you. Jim Walters, hi Ed. You thought about going to Phnom Penh for a bit? Absolutely. A bit of what? What do you suggest? I'm going there for a bit of what? No. I mean, I had to fly booked to Phnom Penh. It's a great city, and I love it. Not to everybody's taste, but I love it. I had a flight booked for Phnom Penh for the other week, but they cancelled it. So right now, the only flight that I've got booked to anywhere is a return flight from Bangkok back to England at the beginning of April. But I don't think I'm going to have to think of something else. Dee, good morning from Chicago. Good morning to you. There you go. Put that on the screen. Good morning from Chicago. Jesus, the Steady Eddie show is truly international. Tintin, nice to hear from you, Tintin. Tony Davey, Berto Jippen. Here's an interesting one. Here's an interesting one. Berto Jipping. Hi, Ed. What was the best meal you have had there to date? Okay. Now, that's a good question. I'll tell you that one. The best meal is one from a fast food outlet in LK Metro. I don't know the name of the stall, but it's next to Chow Mein Charlie's, and they do the most magnificent fish and chips and mushy peas. And I believe it's 150 baht for fish, chips and mushy peas, and it is absolutely lovely. I've had it so many times. Problem is, obviously, the guys are coming out of the bars at 11 o'clock, so if you go there at that time, there's usually a bit of a queue. But that's actually the best meal: fish, chips, and mushy peas. A lot of the more established places in the past haven't cooked fish and chips. Well, they haven't cooked the fish right, in some place. But that place does it. Oh, lovely, lovely stuff. I believe also the fish cakes are good from there. So I've got to give that a try. Okay. Let's see. PAL 555. Cambodia next, Steady. I would love to go to Cambodia again. I've got to make a decision over the next couple of weeks because my visa is going to run out again, whether I will renew my visa and stay here or go elsewhere. Now, the reason I've got to think about it is that I'm actually quite happy here in a bit. Well, all right, the weather's been a little bit iffy the last week, but I'm actually quite happy here, and I think there's I can have good fun here, and there's things that I can do. But there's reasons why I think I better depart. First of all, I'm thinking of my YouTube channel. As we all know, there's a lot of Pattaya vloggers out there, and I don't want to be just another one. It's difficult to come up with new content, really, in a place which is being well and truly overdone. So that's one of the reasons. And obviously the other reason is the the visa. You know, if the visa runs out, I just got to think about something over the next couple of weeks. It could be Cambodia, it could be Philippines, it could be. It's possible for Vietnam if I felt it was convenient, but we'll have to see anyway. Okay, let's see. Stuart Clinton. Let's see. Whatever. Loving the videos, Eddie. God bless mate and travel. Whatever happened to John Black? He went down the Swanee River, really. I blocked him. I believe I blocked him last week after the show. I had enough of him. Stuart, we don't need any of that silliness. You know, it was a laugh last week, you know, but I mean this week, you know, hopefully we don't need any of that. Stuart Clinton, I heard from Wah Hin. Okay, nice to hear from you. Anthony Tester, hey Eddie, hello from USA. Nice to hear from you, mate. Nice to hear from you. Gaz77. My wife is at work taking her sister out for dinner tonight for Valentine's Day. Okay, yeah. No comment. No comment. Richard, going to the Philippines, no jabs, no quarantine. No jabs, no. Well, I've had me jabs anyway. I don't want to do any quarantine, but you still have to have that PCR test before you leave Thailand. I think it doesn't matter where you go. As I understand, you've got to have a PCR test before you leave Thailand. And I've had enough of those bloody PCR tests. We're all aware of like the scam, the rumors of scams and all this kind of stuff. What's that there? Okay. Where are we? Did I just? Oh God Almighty! Soy TV Thailand. Okay. Thank you for that super chat, mate. Greetings, fella from Grim Chigwell, Essex, Roy and New. Okay. Well, thank you for that anyway, and I hope it's not too grim. I hope it cheers up. Cheers. Scotty and more. Problem is that there are not much commercial flights to the small countries right now. Well. People have said before, I had a flight to Cambodia with that bloody Lamai Airways and they cancelled it. So I have not got a flight booked to any of these neighbouring countries just yet. I've got to think about it over the next week or so. Adam Mortimer, Richard, you need to be fully vaxxed to enter the Philippines. Who's this? Bart Fines 69. No ladies of the night for Valentine's Day, Eddie. I'm doing a live stream. It's commitment. It's commitment. A woman would just get in my way. By the way, how do you know that I haven't got one hiding in the wardrobe? Go to Cebu, Ed. It's wild. I went to Cebu years ago. A couple of those neighbouring islands. I don't remember. You know, I thought it was a bit dodgy there, to be honest with you. When I went there years ago to Cebu, it wasn't a place. I went to the main city, and I went to a couple of the neighbouring islands, and it didn't really look very appealing to me. The last time I was in the Philippines, Manila, Angeles City, Subic Bay, they were much, much, much better. Okay, you know, here's one that I want. Here's one that I like. Here's a nice comment. Ed Sweeney's anti-stone wife back in England. When are you coming home, Ed? Well, one glance at that photo and probably never. Oh, Jesus Christ. hopefully she'll go to Turkey and go get herself a young gigolo and stop bothering me. Alpha Interactions. Eddie, would you try Laos? Was there myself 2 years ago. Very, very little's been heard of Laos. I wasn't really that keen on it when I went there. It was a lovely country, but it was a lovely country, but it didn't really ring my bell. I didn't think that the people there had much character, not like in the neighbouring countries of Cambodia and those other places. Tony Dave, you coming back for the meat raffle in Social Club? No. What do I want, a leg of lamb and how's the day chicken? Let me see now. Let me see. Okay. Lux 3335. Eddie was a superstar on NDT. They all knew you and the girls loved you. I'm sure the girls loved you. And the guys loved me as well. I met an awful lot of fellas, you know, and it was really, really good. People who subscribed to this channel, who knew that I was going to be there, and a few of them turned up, and they were really, really great. They were absolutely terrific to meet. It really, really was. Everyone was so hospitable. And I was amazed how many people that I met are actually familiar with my videos and the live streams and were able to tell me what happened on each video and whatever. So I was really, really, that was really, really great. So anyone who I met at the A7 bar last night, thanks. It was great meeting you. It was really, really great meeting you. Oh, this is interesting. Rowley Wells. Steady Eddie, great to catch you live. You're going to make it to Phnom Penh? I'm living here now and everything is open 24/7. Well, see, this is what I've heard. I have heard that it is all open and it's all up and running. I think they're just waiting for more tourists, really. This is as I understand it. Winging it round the world. Ed, we're currently in Phuket for another week. Been here for the last 7 days. Been great. Have you ever been to Koh Lai? Is it worth to visit? I haven't been to Koh Lai, but apparently it's a beautiful little island, that one. But I've been to Phuket years ago, and I do know that some, I don't know, I might have been to Koh Lai. It was quite a long time ago. But I'm glad you enjoyed it anyway. Let's see. Andrzejewski, Scorebirds. Well, as far as I know, Scorebirds in Angeles City, I heard it's being used as a sort of quarantine hotel right now. This is as I understand it. Philip Mulville, lovely to hear from you. Morris, if Thailand was not in the equation, which is the next best destination with a single guy that likes the bar scene? Philippines, Vietnam, or Cambodia? They're all really good. They're all really good. I mean, you know, Cambodia as a you know, a scene for the ladies, which is it's the riverside area in Phnom Penh, and I'm not really sure that there's there's certainly not such a scene anywhere else in Cambodia, but that's good enough as I understand it. Philippines, it's spread all over the place. You've got Angeles City, whatever. Vietnam isn't really the best place to go for the ladies, although there are some lovely, lovely, lovely ladies in Vietnam, but they're all pretty good. Let's see. Yeah. Who's this? Elderly. Live every day like it's your last day. Don't go back. God, that's a bit depressing, isn't it? Do I look that old? Elderly. Live every day like it's your last day. Don't go back to England. Okay, I'm not planning on going back to England. You know, just yet. Anyway, we'll see what happens. David White. Okay, David White, thank you for that super chat, David White. This is towards the production cost of John Black relaxation video. He'll be here in a minute. God bless and safe travels, mate. Thanks for that super chat. I think John Black's history, although he's likely to return as something else. I don't want John Black back anyway. I think we had our fun last week, and that was just about it. Happy as Larry, nice to hear from you. Dino Taylor, yes, I concur. The fish and chips in there are top notch. You're talking about the place in LK Metro. Absolutely. I always gave up on fish and chips some years ago in Pattaya, simply because I went to some established places, really, really, established English themed bars and all that kind of stuff. And I ordered British fish and chips, and they just didn't do it right. You get beyond the batter, and the actual fish inside was a bit soggy. It was really quite soggy, and Jesus Christ, that's I gave up on them, but that fast food place seems to do it perfectly. Happy as Larry. Greetings from Abu Dhabi. Okay, greetings to you, mate, anyway. Okay, Kenny spreads his wings. Have you tried Gentlemen's Club yet, Eddie? Whisper Lounge looks good. I haven't really been to any of those Gentlemen's Clubs. I think they're a new phenomenon, really. What. And okay, good evening, Aunt. Nice to hear from you. Okay, okay, all right. I'll put this comment up. I'll put this comment up because we're all free, we're all honest here, we're all entitled to an opinion. Cyril Denham. Okay, hope you stick to your channel on your own. Don't let the battalion shiters infiltrate your good honest channel. Okay, you're entitled to your opinion, mate. You're entitled to your opinion. That's your opinion anyway. Thank you for saying my channel's a good, honest channel. I appreciate that. Let's see. Up to me. Ed, get a cheap condo. They're cheap now, about 200 quid per counter a month. Yeah, you can get it, but whether I'm going to stay here or not. One of the reasons I may not stay in Pattaya is simply because I might just run out of ideas. I do not want to be making vlogs that people have made over and over again. I've said this, I even said it a few years ago before the pandemic. How many videos can you watch where some guy's walking along Cyber Cow or walking? It just gets a bit much. There's got to be other places, really. Okay. Paul Hoskin, nice to hear from you, Paul. Follow the muffin. Lux 333. Okay. Ed, why don't you invite a few vloggers to a bar? And you are the host asking the question. It's an idea, isn't it? It's an idea, I suppose. Okay, Stephen Booth. Evening, Eddie. Hope all is well and keep the dream alive. Thank you. So, just to recap, I don't know where I'm going next. I really don't know where I'm going next. I would be personally quite happy to stay here, because I'm nice and settled, and it's March next month. Accommodation actually gets cheaper once March comes along, because that's the start of the low season. So I'm quite happy here. But the fact is, for the sake of my YouTube channel, I really want to make the best vlogs, and it probably does mean going somewhere else, maybe leaving Thailand, going to Cambodia, Philippines, whatever. So I've got to think about it. My visa runs out in a couple of weeks' time, and I better not leave it too late, because I better make my mind up pretty soon. Let's see. Side Bob Saloon, Sri Lanka. No, I don't think that's the right place for me. I like elephants, but I don't think that's for me somehow. Time in hands. I reckon I would be going soy honey on a daily basis. No. I've got that kind of energy, mate. I haven't got the energy for a daily basis. Delboy K, Eddie, it used to be a thing that you can only renew your visa at the immigration office. Otherwise, you will have to do a border run. Border runs are out, mate. They are out. You can't do borders at this moment in time. The border from Thailand to Cambodia is closed. Laos, I think that's out of the question. Thailand are talking now that they're going to open the land border between Thailand and Malaysia. I'm not really sure that I want to go to Malaysia personally, but we'll see what happens anyway. Town, Eddie, have you asked where Little Ed wants to go? Little Head, did I say Little Head? Then did I actually say that? Little Ed, has a mind of his own. He has a mind of his own, beyond my control. Tintin, you nailed it. Pattaya is awesome, but how many times do you walk the same streets and find new content? It's difficult to find new content in Pattaya. It really is. Let's see, Richard, did you go to the Sky Gallery at all when you went to the Three Mermaids restaurant? Lovely place. I might have put my head around the Sky Gallery, but the Three Mermaids, it's a nice place. It's not ideal for a solo traveller or for a budget traveller, but as a cat, I thought I'd do that because Valentine's Day was coming up, and it might be the kind of place where you want to take your missus. Skipano Africanus. Hi Ed, have you ever been to Vientiane, Laos? I went to Vientiane some years ago, and it was actually the most unlike capital city. It looked more like a town, really, than a capital city. It didn't, but it was pleasant enough. It was really pleasant. I can't say I was bold. It wasn't a rocket to the moon, nothing like that. Up to me. Good to see you having fun, enjoying yourself out there. I've got 3 months to wait. Bring it on. Good for you, mate. Hopefully, in 3 months' time, all the bloody PCR and all the quarantines, all a thing of the past. But I wouldn't count on it. Happy as laddie. Oh, anyway, good to see you again. Good, yeah, nice to hear from you, mate. Anyway, cheers. Dayan Ford. Eddie, I think many of your subscribers tune in for your insights and humour. I think you will get viewers wherever you go. I hope you do visit Phnom Penh, as it's on my summer wish list this year. Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, since I've spent a lot of time in Phnom Penh in the past, but since I have my YouTube channel, I only done a handful of vlogs there, a few years ago, a couple of years ago, whatever. And basically, basically, I really want to explore Cambodia a bit more. There's a lot that I can do. You need, if you have a YouTube channel like this, you want to make the best videos, the interest of it. You do not want to be making stuff that 1,000 other people have already done. And Cambodia I don't believe there's that many vloggers there. So there's probably a lot of things that, I could investigate there and whatever. So, I think but the Philippines is great. Philippines is a great place. I think between Cambodia and the Philippines, that we've already seen that one. The Lost King of Scotland. I think to help your channel grow and give us fans what we want, you need to get back to Cambodia this trip. A couple of vlogs walking down street 136 and 104 will bring back some good memories. Okay, I suppose, but don't forget, mate, we've had this problem here. I mean, 104 and 1360, they are very, very much red light areas. And, especially expats there and whatever, they don't take kindly to people walking down the street with cameras, especially a guy like me who shows his face. I'm one of the guys who shows me Facebook. There's been controversy recently about vloggers, going around pointing cameras in bars and all this kind of stuff. So, the idea of showing, filming red light areas, there's enough of that goes on here, but the ones who film it here are the ones with hidden cameras who don't show their own face. Well, I'm somebody who does show my own face. So the idea that I could walk through a red light area, especially of an evening time, showing my face and filming it, I don't know. I wouldn't count on it, to be honest with you. You'd upset too many people. Let's see. Max Bain, are bars and clubs open in the Philippines now? Well, I'm being told that it's open anyway, so I'm not there. I'm not in the Philippines. Barry Torjak, hi Ed, just booked my ticket to the Philippines, £583. Yeah, so presumably that's from that's from the UK, and hopefully that's a return ticket for £583. Good for you, mate. Anyway, good for you. Let's see. Philip Mulville, steady, Roger or Dodger. Okay. Well, I'd say we'll have to bring back some things for the lives. I'll have to spruce up these live streams a little bit because they've been a little bit basic recently. Maybe because of the time difference. It's a bit difficult to do them. I have StreamYard, so I'll try and get a few guests on. I will try and get a few guests on once again, and maybe come up with a few other ideas, because I don't want the live streams to get boring. Paul Hoskin, do some live streams in the Cambodian bars. That would be fun. Well, to be honest with you, it probably would be. But the thing is, I mean, when you're there and when there's mongers about, it causes conflict. And you're sitting in a bar with a guy. In the olden days, you could probably get away with that. But now everyone knows what YouTube is. I mean, if I go into a bar and, I set up my phone or whatever and start talking, people quickly catch on. You're doing a live stream. This is a live stream on YouTube. And it does cause, but you've seen it on YouTube, it causes problems with a lot of people. Okay, and Vietnam opens tomorrow. Yeah, it does open. I actually think that apparently they're saying flights everywhere. They're inviting flights from all countries there. But the thing is, the thing is, that it wouldn't be up and running. Maybe it seems a little bit selfish to say this, but if a place just opens, I wouldn't go there simply because it's going to take a long time for it to really get up and running. And yet, really, those places, they need the tourists, really. So I'd leave it a little bit personally. So we'll see what happens. Barry told you, got to get out of Garston. That's what I thought once, mate. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Let's see. Ed Sweeney's 20-stone wife back in England. Turkey it is then. Listen, love. Listen, Stella. You know, don't. You have my permission to go to Turkey with your friends. Go out there and go out there and fondle all the bloody gigolos out there, like the middle-aged wongers do. I've seen them. I've sat in a bar in Turkey, and these 60-odd-year-old women, I mean, sitting around the bar, when they're talking about Turkish men, and they're disgusting. Oh, they are bloody disgusting. They are. Oh, they really, really are. Oh, Jesus, once you've had a Turkey, man, you wouldn't go back to an Englishman again. Oh, my God, what they're disgusting they are. Anyway, let's see, Andrasky, have you thought about Japan or Korea, Eddie? Well, Japan is, I would love to see Japan. Korea is, you know, I've not really heard that many good reports about it. Japan, I think I went to the cheaper version of Japan, something that looks a bit like Japan. I went to Taiwan, and I got food poisoning there. But I'm sure Japan's a great place. I would like to visit sometime. I'm not really so sure it would be the ideal place for me, especially if it's going to be really expensive. And is it open? Is Japan even open at this moment in time? I haven't heard much of it. Max Bairn, Laos would surprise you if you hang around for a while. Beautiful, friendly girls. Actually, a lot of the girls, I don't know if it's still the case, but it was at one time, that a lot of the girls in Thailand who work in bars, a surprising amount of them actually do come from Laos. I've met a couple in the past, and they were wonderful. When I met them here in Thailand, the Laos girls, they were wonderful. And yet when I went out to Laos and travelled through there, I actually thought the people were they didn't seem to have the same kind of, they didn't seem to have the same kind of personality. Let's see. There you go. It's worked anyway this time. It's worked. There you go. Metal Lobster, where's the I think I've just blocked someone. I think I've just blocked somebody. I think I've just blocked somebody. You know what I mean? I've actually just blocked somebody there. So I think I've actually got through. It's the guy last week with his teddy bear, and I think we had a bit of a laugh last week, and a couple of people commented me the next day. They commented on me the next day that it was hilarious. You know, it was really, really good fun. But I think we've had enough of John Black, to be honest with you. I've just blocked him. Oh my God! Don't mention that. David Kernan. Eddie, what was that tin of food you were trying to open in Nick's bar? It didn't smell to it. Was bloody disgusting. It was some kind of fermented fish from Norway or something like that. it was the Rodney challenge or something. He didn't want to go in it. I opened it. Only partially opened it, and the smell was the smell actually somehow found its way to the top of the bottle of beer that I was the rim of the bottle of beer that I was drinking. Jesus Christ, it was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Not the kind of thing I want to eat. Scipio Africanus tried to get a visa and go to North Korea. That would be hilarious viewing. Somehow I don't think I'd enjoy that. Oh, that place sounds good. There's a beautiful lady who does a YouTube channel, very, very big YouTube channel. I think it's called The Voice of, and she spills the beans. She's just not in North Korea. Spills the beans on what's happening there. And, apparently, a bit of a bastard of a place there. No thanks, not for me. Whole heart more expensive in Pattaya now compared to the last time. Not really, no, not really. The Thai baht, is better than a few years ago. It got up to 45 Thai baht recently. It's slipping. It's getting stronger again now. It went to 45, and now it looks like it's going towards 43 Thai baht to the pound. So it may be strengthened again, that Thai baht. But no, Pattaya is still very, very cheap. It's good value. Andrew Johnson. Hello, Eddie. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well too, Andrew. Andrew is on the verge of retiring out in Thailand with his lovely lady. And all I can say is best of luck to him. Well done. Well done, Andrew. Good for you, mate. Ralph Anderson, do you have to be a gentleman to get into a gentleman's club? Bloody hope not, because that'll rule me out. Ian Clissold, hi Eddie, from a wet and horrible day in West Yorkshire. It seems to be raining. It's raining in Pattaya, mate, but at least it's not cold there. At least, it's still, even when it's raining, it's still t-shirts and shorts weather. So let me see now. Okay, here we go. David R, how are you doing, David? He's been on this show a few times. David, he's in California. He's having his morning coffee. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Morning coffee in California. Sounds good to me. Michael Flaherty, Eddie, screw all the trolls. No, I'd rather do that in a massage bar, let's be honest with you. Okay. Let me see the Shaven Haven, Cheap Charlie's restaurant or Hungry Haven. Now, I went into Cheap Charlie's, not on this trip, but a few years. I went there quite a lot. It always seems really, really busy, that place. I was in the Hungry Hippo yesterday. Was it yesterday? Was that Sunday? Yes, yesterday afternoon. And I had a lovely meal, beautiful meal there. It was a pork roast dinner, and I had a fruit pie and custard afterwards, and it was lovely. Lovely stuff, absolutely. Cheap Charlie's is a good place. It's a damn good place. It's a damn good place. I mean, I went in there a few years ago, and the owner in that place, I assume he was the owner. He recognised me. He said, "You're from, you're off YouTube, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, I have actually done YouTube." He said, "Well, you were wrong when you said about this place. You said that that place isn't going to last very long. That's what you were wrong, weren't you?" Really? Because I don't recall doing a vlog on Cheap Charlie's. I think he meant somebody else. Some people who see YouTubers around, they do get you confused with other people. They know your face, but they confuse things. So, but Cheap Charlie's is good. It's a good place, but I haven't been there recently. Andrew Johnson, my girlfriend is coming over next week. Hope she enjoys the English weather. You never know. Could be right. Could be sunny. It might be, but it'll probably be a bit cold. I think the cold will take a bit of getting used to. David Ed, Vietnam opens tomorrow. It opens tomorrow, but it's not a. I mean, I did quite a bit of Vietnam before the pandemic set in, so it's not a country I'd be rushing to go. So I think Cambodia or the Philippines would be more likely for me. John Huey, hi Eddie, how are you? Can I ask you, what company did you use to get your Thailand pass? I used a company called Royal Vacation, an award-winning Thai company, Royal Vacation, and they were good. For all the stuff that they've done, they were good. I'd recommend them. Here's a good comment. Up to me. Pattaya is a good base to live and cheap. Then you can travel all over Thailand and Asia, but you still got your home there. Yeah, sounds about right. That sounds about right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I wouldn't say no. Evil C, out of the box, would Laos be an option if you've never been? Well, at this moment in time, at this point, I haven't heard much of Laos. I've not really heard much of it. But it's a beautiful country. Actually, as I recall, with Laos, it's very popular with the young people. You see an awful lot of people who look teenage, Western tourists who look like they're you know, 18 and 19, maybe gap year students. That I think that place is more popular with them than other places in this region. I think they love Laos. Also, a lot of those young people, they do that thing in the waters in the rivers of Laos called tubing. What they do, they get this bloody big inner tube and it's you know big tire, and they float along the river and they drink beer and all that. But some of those young people actually, you know. They've got some of them end up drowning. It's quite dangerous thing. But Laos seems to be more popular with the young backpacker type of people. It's worth a visit. I mean, all the countries in this region are worth a visit. Elder, you got me curious about Cambodia. Never been there. Bloody good place. Damn good place. I like it. Maybe not as good as it used to be, but we'll see anyway. Fanny, I'm going to hide that picture because that's bloody disgusting. Let's see. Let's see. Shaving Haven, settle down with the bar girl. They know how to smoke. Okay, yeah, fine and dandy. David, Vietnam returns to full flight schedule and no restrictions. Are you quite sure? But maybe no. You still have to have a PCR test before you leave Thailand. If I was to get a flight from here to Vietnam, from Bangkok to Vietnam, I think I would still need to. I think I'd still need a PCR test before I left there. Travel with airlines. Cambodia visit would be great. I'd like to go to Cambodia. I really, really, really would. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You know, I'll repeat what I said earlier. I did have a flight booked for there the other week, but they cancelled it. So right now I haven't got a flight booked to anywhere really, other than the one going back to England, which I'll probably end of next month, which I probably won't be on. David, don't go to Malaysia. It's pretty boring there. I must admit, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I didn't take to that country. I went there many years ago, about 18 years ago, something like that. And then went on to the Philippines afterwards. Malaysia, I only spent a week in Malaysia. I went to Kuala Lumpur and then to Penang and then back to Kuala Lumpur again. And I didn't think the people there were very friendly. A lot of characters there, but it wasn't really the place for me. They were, you know, they weren't the friendliest people I'd ever met. Bottle Baby, your screen present stole the scene the other night. Thank you, absolutely thank you. Appreciate that comment. Up to me, get over to Koh Larn, get ferry from Walking Street, Great Whitby Island, 30 bar ferry. Do you know something? I've never got round to going to Koh Larn. I might be there tomorrow, but the thing is the weather is a little bit iffy here right now. We had rain here today. It's been a bit iffy the last week. It's still been warm, of course, shorts and t-shirts weather. But the thing is, if you're going to go to islands and beaches, then you really, really need sunny, clear blue skies. I mean, otherwise it just doesn't work. Michael Janis, Eddie, good to see you well. I've heard good things about Indonesia and Lombok. I wouldn't mind Indonesia. Now, listen, all these countries, one by one, they're starting to open again. Cambodia's been open a couple of months. Then the Philippines announced it was opening. Vietnam is opening from tomorrow. That's short notice. I still haven't heard much about Indonesia, really. I wouldn't mind traveling around Indonesia, Jakarta. I wouldn't go to Bali again because I didn't like it. But Indonesia, I wouldn't say no. I've never actually been to the main part of Indonesia. I'd definitely give that a try. But as I understand, then it's not happening. Right now. Tom, how brave are you? Can you do a street dance? How brave are you? Can you do a Sound soy 6 1. Are you talking about the back alley of soy 6? Not the one where the lady boys are goes. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. Well, what is it? I haven't even heard that word streak. Streakers was like a phenomenon that started in the 1970s, wasn't it? You know, they were mostly men, funnily enough, at cricket matches. You know, they'd whip their clothes off and bloody run naked across a major sporting event. But you don't hear much of that now. No, I don't think I'd be doing a streak anyway. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Alan Hunter, could you please explain what kind of visa do you have? Could you please explain the options you had? Can't understand how you got to stay that long. Well, to be honest with you, I didn't reveal this at the time that I booked my flights. I have a 3-month ticket. I didn't reveal it at the time, but when I actually arrived there on a tourist visa for 30 days, and at the end of that 30 days, I had a flight booked for Cambodia. Which cancelled. So it cancelled. So then I had to renew my visa there for another 30 days. I have done a video about it, you know, when I went to that bloody awful place and jumped here. But my second visa, time moves quickly here. My second visa runs out in a couple of weeks' time. So I better think of something else. Okay. Martin Ryder, if you need a visa run to Malaysia, then go to Langkawi Island, just near the Thai border. It's duty-free. Can of beer, 30 pence. Well, that sounds lovely, near the Thai border. Well, the thing is, that sounds good. Yeah, but you still need the bloody PCR test, don't you? They're the things that's pissing everybody off, these PCR tests. Now, you must have heard about the controversy around them. I don't want to go into too much detail about it, but let's see, the controversy involves hotels and hospitals and hospitals and hospital hotels and collusion and all that kind of stuff. I'm fed up with all these PCR tests, mate, because there's been so many stories of these PCR tests of, you know, people coming a cropper with them. Daniel Quigley, hiya. I've got 6 weeks off from the 22nd of this month. Is it worth coming out there in your honest opinion for 6 weeks? 6 weeks might be doable. It might be, that might be okay. 6 weeks would be okay. Well, that's how long I've been out here now, and I've had a good time. But just be careful about, you know what you're in for. Don't forget to arrive in Thailand, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. To arrive in Thailand, you will have to have a PCR before you leave your own country. You will have to have a PCR the day or night that you arrive here. A quarantine one night in a hotel, and then 5 days later, not only do you have to have another PCR test after being unleashed and enjoying yourself, not only do you have to have another PCR test 5 days later, but you have to stay in another Shah Plus hotel for that 5th night, which is bloody awful. It's dreadful. So just know what you're in for. Let's see. Bottle baby. Even the border homes, you only get stamped for 2 weeks, and too many getting you tossed. Okay, whatever. Daniel Kelly, nice to hear from you, Daniel. Hope all's well with you, mate. I hope you can make it out here soon. Del Boy K, everyone in the chat, block John Black. He's an immature. I blocked him. I can't. I don't know if you can still see John Black, but I can't see him because I blocked him. For once, it actually works. I blocked him. Martin Ryder. I don't understand this. Martin Ryder, John Black, you're out of order. John Black was in the chat before, but he's maybe another John Black, because I blocked one last week. He came back. He was in the chat about 20 minutes ago, but I blocked him. I can't see him. I can't see his comments anywhere here. So maybe you can still see him, but I can't. You know. So apologies if John Black has caused an offence to people. Let's see. Tintin. Vientiane wasn't my favourite. Lao countryside is beautiful and raw, amazing really. But like you said, locals aren't the same as Cambodians. It's like comparing apples and bananas. Absolutely. Martin Wright, John Black, I'm laughing at you, but that's not funny. I can't see him, mate. I cannot see what he's saying. So at least, John Black, if you're out there, you may be causing offence to other people, but I can't see it because I've already blocked you. I don't know how it's working like this. I don't know how it's working like this, but as far as I'm concerned, you're not on my chat. Everyone report John Black if he's really saying offensive things. I don't know what he's doing. Let's see. David, regardless where you go, Ed, what about getting back into Thailand? I may not become if I leave Thailand in a couple of weeks' time and go to a neighbouring country, maybe Cambodia or the Philippines, I would go there and probably stay for at least a month, maybe 2 months or whatever. Things might have changed by then, but I would not personally be coming back to Thailand if the same rules now applies of getting into Thailand. I will not be doing this, coming here and doing a one-night quarantine PCR and then another PCR 5 days later. I wouldn't come here under the current circumstances personally. So if they don't change, I wouldn't be coming back to Thailand. Let's see. Tintin, Etty, how long do you think you'll be away for? Retirement, extended trip? What's your rough plans? Rough plans are extended trip. I'm in no hurry at all. Don't forget, I wasn't able to travel last winter, so I'm kind of making up for it this year. We'll see. I'm in no rush to get back to England. No rush at all. Let's see. Ian Clissold, if you're going to the Philippines, Ed, you must have a health pass. It's a must. Oh, well, got to look into all of that. Josh Benetti, hi Eddie. I'm actually watching your live stream for the change here in Perth, Western Australia. Good on you, mate. Okay, well, good for you. Perth. I remember there was a poll done a few years ago, wasn't it? And people said that Perth was one of the most desirable places to live in the whole world. So good for you, mate. Good for you. Let me see now. What's that? Donald Buzo. Steady Eddie gave the greatest live stream YouTube interview, co-starring with Elton John, the fine Pattaya pub, with some lovely dancing. Okay, that's all. That wasn't credit. That was credit to Nick and Martin. I mean, they run a great show, and the other people. There's a team effort there. They were really, really good. I really enjoyed that. Oh, and by the way, I've been in touch with Nick, and I would like to do a couple of vlogs, maybe having a look at his bars and his ambitions. So that would be interesting. I think that will be coming up soon. Nick's all right. He's cool. Let's see. Now I've just seen a message there saying John Black was blocked. Okay, fine. Now I blocked John Black from my chat, and I couldn't see him, but apparently other people could still see him. But anyway, Steph Travesty. Okay, Steph Travesty. That's not my friend, Steph. Steph is not my friend. It's somebody else. Steph Travesty. Would you marry a bar girl? No, I wouldn't. I'm not sure I'd marry anyone. I certainly wouldn't marry a 20-stone woman from the social club. I know that much. Robert, I live in Japan, Tokyo, Shanghai. Japan is too expensive and not fun for lovely outlet. Well, that's always what. That's probably why I've never actually been there. Daniel Kelly, Eddie, are we going to see you with a sexy lady in Pattaya like the one you loved in Cambodia? There could be some. I need to get. I'll tell you what, Pattaya is not actually the best place to make videos. I mean, make videos simply because everyone's it's very much a red light area, so it's not really wise to go filming in bars. It's not really the best place to be making videos, to be honest, and that's probably the reason why I really do need to go. I'm thinking of my YouTube channel. I don't want to start sharing bland, repetitive content. I really want to go to other places and start maybe sprucing things up a bit. Okay. Red Mondo 777, the Swedish fish. Well, I think it was Finnish from Finland. Oh, it was bloody awful. It was. That was terrible. There you go. Eddie, thanks for blocking the troll. His message are retracted. Okay, I blocked him. Apparently, other people could still see his messages. So, you could still see his messages. So, apologies to that. But this is it. Okay, we'll decide between there and Cambodia. Now, where are you, William? Are you in the United Kingdom or America or whatever? The thing is, if you're in America or Canada, America, Canada, UK, anywhere really, it's not always that convenient to get to Cambodia. You'd usually have to go via Bangkok. And I'm not so sure what the rules are these days because everything's just up in the air. I'm not really sure. I mean, whether you can arrive in, it's more expensive to go straight to Cambodia. I think possibly the only way you can avoid Thailand to get to Cambodia would be to go to maybe with Singapore Airlines and land in Singapore and then onto Cambodia. But they're both great countries anyway. But Cambodia is the one with so many restrictions. Let's see. Wells 32. He's got a scene from the dirty, doesn't it? Eddie, would you decide in Thailand? Yeah, if the circumstances were right, I would be. This is it. Carson, been a lot of thieves targeting vloggers and tourists in Bali recently. Really? That's dreadful because, I mean, here it's okay. Philippines is a bit more dodgy. But here it's really generally quite safe unless you really overstep the mark and offend people. Martin Ryder, I've had a few cheeky massages in Vientiane, but difficult for mongers. Yeah, it's not the ideal place for mongers. You're quite right there, Martin. Adrian McDermott. Hi, Eddie. I missed your interview. Any chance you could tell us about it? What? It's there on NDTV. It's there last night's show. It's even got a picture of my face on the thumbnail. So go check it out. It was a good interview. Nick asked some good questions. It's some good questions, and thankfully I had the right answers anyway. Let me see. Eddie is looking tanned and terrific. Thanks for that, mate. Thanks for that. Yogi to there from you. It's heavy rain in West Yorkshire. Okay. Well, best of luck to you, mate. Best of luck to you. Ben Leno. I've been stuck in Laos for 2 years, mate. COVID is minimal here. Well, I don't know. Are you working there, or what are you doing there exactly? I've only been there once. I spent about 3 weeks or a bit more than that, whatever it was, going from one end of the country to the other, across over the border from Cambodia, and started off in those 4,000 islands. But what I do know about Laos, it was very much a young scene, a lot of young backpackers there. But it wasn't my favourite place in Southeast Asia. Crispy 1963. Keep the videos coming, Eddie. It makes life in dreary Leicester slightly more bearable. Thanks for that comment anyway. Funnily enough, I mean, last night at Nick's Bar, I met a lot of guys who recognised me from YouTube, and they were all really, really great guys. A couple of them that I met did say, Ed, I really, really like your videos, but I don't like those live streams. They don't go down well with everyone, the live streams. Some people like them and some people don't like them. But at the end of the day, I'd still do the live streams because we've got a nice little community. I tune in every every week. I'll try and do it a couple of times a week, and try and do it a couple of times a week. And we have some people like the live streams, some people don't like them. That's the way it is. Let's see. Steph Travesty, I like that name. Funny enough, do you get recognised by fellow? Do you get recognised by fellow? Yes. Okay, quite a lot. Willy Wonka. Hi Eddie, did you go to the chocolate factory? The chocolate factory is in Pratamang Beach, a cozy beach area. I didn't actually go in there. I went outside it, and somebody did comment, like he said, it's a nice place, but they weren't keen on the. I don't know. I haven't been in there, but no, I haven't actually been in there. Might be worth a visit. Might be worth a visit. At the end of the day, for the last few days, I have wanted to get out and make some vlogs, but all the stuff that I want to do involves beaches, and it hasn't really been beach weather here the last week. GSD, thank you for that super chat, €10. I really, really do appreciate that. Hello, Eddie. Can't wait to get back to Thailand on March the 2nd. I know a lot of people are afraid of the 5th day PCR, but it's worth the risk. I'll be there for 8 weeks. Have a chang on me, Gav. Okay, cheers for that, mate. Thank you. I'm glad you're feeling confident anyway. Okay, hope it all goes well anyway, mate. Cheers. Thanks for that super chat. Gaz Wilco, it was Kevin Thailand said that about Cheap Charlie's. Yeah, I believe it was. Someone else told me that. The owner there was convinced it was me. It wasn't it. I think it was Kevin Thailand who made that vlog. Another one, I've had two like that. Another one was an Australian guy. It's just a youngish Australian guy who I met on Soy 6. He recognised me. He said, "Oh, I know you. You know, I watch your videos." I said, "Oh, thanks." Thanks a lot, mate. He said, I watched that one that you done the other day. The one where you went bungee jumping. Yeah, I said, no, I didn't do a video too. He said, yeah, it was you. You done that video, didn't you, when you went bungee jumping? I think that was actually Nick's. I think it was NDTV that did that one. People don't like that. They watch these YouTube channels, but they don't always get the names right. They sort of know the face, but they don't always get the names right. Somebody stopped me on Cyber Cow once. I said, I know you. I watch your videos. I really enjoy them. I said, oh, thanks a lot, mate. He says, yeah, I watch you all the time. You're big fat bestie, aren't you? No, I think my name's Eddie, to be honest with you. John Mitch, have you visited a gentleman's club yet? I used to spend lazy afternoons in them clubs. I had some real nice horizontal aerobic lessons. Good for you, mate. Good for you, mate. You dirty monkey, John. Okay, good for you anyway. Lazy. To be honest with you, that's actually not my thing. The gentlemen's clubs. Maybe I should investigate them a little bit more. Those gentlemen's clubs. A lot of people who go to these places do tend to go to them of an afternoon. And I think I actually did go into one of them. I think it was Maggie Mays or one of them of an afternoon. And I don't really want to be there. It's not the kind of place that I want to be. To me, they're more like nighttime places. But I hear people going, I don't know, maybe. It's for some reason, it's not really my thing now. It's not really my thing. Let's see. Sefiki, I would probably just stay where I am instead of fearing unknown and quarantine hotels. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, mate. I've had enough of these bloody PCR tests. Just don't trust them. Just don't trust those PCR things. David, Ed, let's hope that very soon Thailand drops all the arrival testing and switches to a pre-departure test like every other country. Then the hordes will come. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Well said. I agree. Expat Pete, Eddie, have you decided it's time to move on from Thailand yet? More or less. I'm quite happy here. I would stay here, and I'm meeting a lot of people, and it's good. It's a good vibe, and I'm very relaxed here, and I like it here. I'd actually give it another month beyond this one in Pattaya. But the reason that will be tempted to go somewhere else is because of my YouTube channel. I love my YouTube channel. I love making videos, and I do not want to be going over the same old ground over and over again. So, there's only so much you can do in Pattaya, and whatever you can do in Pattaya, everyone's doing it. Let's see. Pele. Eddie, do you watch the Olympics? Lots of medals to the UK. I haven't seen any of that. The Olympics. I don't watch TV. I watch everything through my laptop. I do watch some of the news, follow some of the news, but I wasn't even aware that it was on. Yeah, the Winter Olympics. I think you're talking about is it some part of China or whatever it is? Is it China? I haven't seen any of it, mate. I haven't seen any of it. Crypto Chris card. Eddie, I've heard Cambodia's where Thailand was 20 years ago. Well, Cambodia's a great place. I mean, it's a great little. There's not as much to offer as Thailand. No way. I mean, Cambodia's a much smaller country and with only a few really, really main places. But I love Phnom Penh because it's a great city, great people. Yeah, lovely riverside area with lots of really lovely girly bars and all that kind of stuff. I loved that for many years. But it doesn't have as much to offer as Thailand does overall. And also at Phnom Penh, it doesn't really have the entertainment value in terms of live bands or go-go bars or dirty massages. It doesn't really have that sort of thing, So Thailand's has got a lot more to offer, really. Gareth, I'm not putting that bloody picture up there. Gareth still has a Vietnam still has a 3-day quarantine. Does it? Well, they're changing the rules, so I'm not so sure about that. The Lost King of Scotland. I went to Cambodia for the first time in 2019. Used Eddie's videos as a guide. Oh, thanks for that. That's good to know. That's good to know. A couple of my videos had millions of views. They did, probably a lot of people. A lot of people. What was funny about I'm going to grab myself the rest of that beer, okay? What was funny about those infamous videos I made, where I was telling people about the cost of a bit of rumpy pumpy in Cambodia. Some people there were a bit upset about it. I remember somebody said something like, because of those videos, before you know it, there's going to be big coach loads of lager loud stag do fellas wearing Union Jack t-shirts, invading the riverside area and driving the prices of the girls up. You know what I mean? I tell you what, in the dark times of a couple of years ago, the things that have happened in the last couple of years, these terrible bloody times of bar closes and everything really, really dreadful. I would imagine somewhere like 104 Street or 1360, they would have given anything for the bloody coach load of stag do fellas with Union Jack t-shirts too, because as everyone knows, stag do fellas, gangs of fellas on stag do's, they may not be popular with everyone, but they spend a lot of money. They do spend a lot of money. But we'll say anyway, things have changed. It'll be nice to see Cambodia, see what's changed and anything. I'd like to visit Cambodia. We'll say anyway. And Koh Larna's boring. Okay, that's it. I'm not going. I'm going to count. No, I don't know. Whatever. I haven't been there. I would go there. In fact, I was actually thinking of going there today because it looks sunny. But then the rain came in. Or you can't really be going to beaches. You can't really be going to beaches when it's raining. Daniel Kelly, Pattaya has turned into the Ibiza of Thailand with muscle men standing around posing expected a chef for free. Well, whoever really knows this, to be honest with you. You're talking about the lady boys. I haven't really heard about that. It's always been the case that we young fellas are, that the problem that I have with young fellas coming out of a place like this is that, they they'll run into trouble with the girl. Whenever I've heard of fellas run into trouble with the girls, it's always been the younger guys, because the younger guys, bloody, they had all this rubbish back home. People filling their head full of Thailand is dirt cheap, and you can have a woman all week, for next to nothing, and everything's cheap. They come out here with minimal amounts of money, and they quickly go skint. They overspend on the first couple of nights, and then the next thing they still want the ladies there, but they haven't got enough money, and I've heard of young guys ripping the girls off, and it all ends in tears somehow. Let's see. There's a comment. I live in Udon. It's been over to Vientiane lots of times. It's come up over the years. Beer and fags are cheap, but everything else is more expensive, especially for the accommodation. And it's still communist. Yeah, it didn't seem to be the most charming place I've ever been, to be honest with you. Leslie Robinson, Steady Eddie, love your videos. Keep on keeping on. Okay, cheers, mate. Anyway, I appreciate that. I'm going to end this about, I'm not going to go on too long. I'm not going to be doing 2 hour plus like I did last week, simply because, I want to keep this to about 1.5 hours. I did meet a couple of places. I'm repeating myself now, but I did meet a couple of guys last night who said, Ed, I love your vlogs. I really, really do like your vlogs. I don't like those live streams. I think some people will still want to watch. Listen, let's bear something in mind, that when I started doing live streams about, a couple of years ago, after I finished traveling last time, or less than a couple of years ago, I was doing them every Wednesday night, and my live streams, considering that they were being done on a crap mobile phone, a Samsung and Delilah phone, they did actually get the views. Even after I uploaded them to YouTube, they were regularly getting 10,000 views. Some of them more than that. So, but some people like the live streams, some don't like them. But I don't want the live streams to go on too long. I think 1.5 hours is just about enough. William Wilson, good show, Eddie. Jakarta is a nightmare and not the friendliest people. Too big, too crowded, and sweet FA to see. Really? I think I've heard mixed reviews about Jakarta. I don't know. I haven't been there. I really, really haven't been. I can't comment on countries that I haven't been to. And it's an interesting question. Good day, Mark G. Good day, Eddie. What is the ratio of guys to girls in the bars right now? Well, there are girls around. There are. If you want the girls in Pattaya, you can get them. There seem to be more guys in a lot of the bars, but there's still a significant amount of girls. And somebody said to me today, you must admit, I don't sound unkind, but the women here now are not the quality that they should be. I think a lot of the ladies, are still in their villages. They haven't really braved it to come back down here to Pattaya just yet. So there's probably not as many as you would know under normal circumstances. But there's still a lot of ladies around. They're not. Like I say, somebody said to me, I'm not saying this. Someone else said they're not always the best quality. But I don't know. I've seen some lovely ladies. I've seen some lovely ladies personally around. Lovely ladies. Let's see. Sefika, I vote Philippines if we do a vote. Okay, good for you, mate. Who's this? BW83. I didn't think you'd enter Malaysia. Well, I seen her on the news report this evening that the Thais are saying now that they're going to open the land border, and that is the only land border that they're going to open between Thailand and Malaysia. You can't get to. There's usually borders to Laos and Cambodia from Thailand, but they're very much closed. But they are actually going to open the land border to Malaysia pretty soon. So if you're interested in Malaysia, there you go. How far? Lots of insurance policy aren't paying out. It's a big risk. They can shaft you big time. They can shaft you big time. Yeah, absolutely. You're hearing all kinds of terrible stories, and like I said before, Daniel Kelly, do you still need a PCR test when you turn to UK 48 hours before departure? Well, I think you do, but check on that. Some people are saying it might depend what airline. I mean, my airline is Emirates. Some are saying that you don't need a PCR test to return back to England, but I still think you're going to need one before you get on that airplane. I think you've got to check with your own airline, really. Cats and good coffee. Hi Ed, I've heard that Vietnamese ladies are much more materialistic and find age a problem if the man is older. What would you say about this? Well, I'm an old bastard, I don't know. Last time I was in Vietnam, I seen lots of lovely ladies there who were like 30, whatever, 28, 30, whatever. If you go to Hanoi, a lot of the sort of working ladies who are approaching Hanoi, they all look like they're well into the 40s. They did look really, really old there. But as they find age a problem if the man is older. I don't know. If you're talking about working girls, I think they're just motivated by money. To be honest with you, I think it's the same, and I think it's probably the same there as it is in Thailand. I mean, the working girls, they're probably going to be more trusting of an older fella. They really, really are. It's the younger ones that you have to watch out for. I've heard that a lot. I've heard that in Cambodia as well. A lot of those girls won't entertain the younger fellas simply because they've had too much bloody problems with them. The younger fellas tend to think they're God's gift to women, and use your imagination on that one. Okay. Well, half an hour behind the chat, Eddie. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, half an hour behind the chat. Well, I better come up to days. I am waffling. Yeah, Martin Ryder. John Black is back in his mum's bedroom eating meatloaf and cheese and chives Doritos, masturbating, yeah? And he's got his teddy in the other hand. He's got his dick in one hand and his teddy bear in the other. Let's see, Richard, Eddie, if you leave Thailand and fly somewhere else, do you need to get another Thailand pass or return to Thailand for your flight to the UK? No one seems to know about that. I'll tell you what, if I left Thailand to go somewhere else, I don't think I'd want to return under this current system that they have. I don't think I'd find an alternative. I'd either go via Singapore or whatever. I don't think I do not want to do this day five. But the thing is, you may be talking a few months into the future where things might change then. You never know what's going to happen next. But this day five thing, I mean, what words can we use to describe this? Staying in a hotel on day five. Insidious, sinister. I just don't like the sound of it. I don't want to do that. Let's see. CMC1, just found your channel. Have you built a house out there, mate? No, I'm staying in a hotel, to be honest with you. But welcome anyway. Nice to hear from you, mate. Okay, I'm gonna. There's an interesting one. BWA, Angeles is dead, so is Baker Street at the moment. Well, this is what I think he's talking about the Philippines here. It's okay, bear in mind, Vietnam's supposedly opening tomorrow. It's okay saying these countries are opening, but it takes time for them to get back together again. I mean, if Vietnam opens tomorrow, then do you really think all the bars are going to be up and running? And Chappie there saying that, Angeles and Manila are pretty dead. There we go. He's going a bit fair. He's determined. Damn the man. I heard if you do street down Soy 6, he's not the same one. Someone was talking about Soy 6-1, the one with, I think that's the one with the lady boys. Soy 6 is the one with the lady bars, the girls. Dan the man, hi Ed, if you do a streak down soy 6, can you do it in a state of arousal? That will make it a lot funnier. I think I probably would give those girls, to be honest with you. Nothing that they haven't seen before. I'm sure of that. Jonesy, cheers from Florida, USA. Okay, nice to hear from you, mate. Nice to hear from you. Martin Ryder, Bail Lao is the best in Southeast Asia. And yeah, it is nice there. You're quite right there. It is nice there. Let me see. Evil say maybe persons don't need to answer, but if you can share with us your monthly budget for your travels at the moment, so how much anyone would need for their own budget. I mean, I've done videos on that in the past about Pattaya. You know how much it would cost for a couple of weeks or whatever. But everyone's different. I mean, some people will be frugal and they will spend very, very little, but probably won't really enjoy themselves very much. Whereas others will blow through a small fortune within a matter of days. Everyone's different. I mean, but I know it's a good. But I've actually, if you dig down deep into my list, I have actually done videos like that. Let's see. Super Stephen, Ed, are you dancing A7 bar at Elton John? Elton John, he was a really good entertainer, he was. Really enjoyed that. Who's this? Anthony M. Hey Ed, hope things are going well, buddy. Glad you're getting experimental with the opening music to your vids. Still shopping mall Esquire, but still very much your trademark now. Okay, fine. Thank you. Let's see. Popeye the Sailor. Let's see. Popeye the Sailor. You were very different on the TFI. I hope you get on the boots on the ground. I was actually on the. I was on the Hacienda. Nick on the Hacienda the other night, didn't I? I was on there. And they sat me between two lovely, lovely ladies. So I was a bit intimidated. I'm sitting between two lovely ladies here. Isn't interesting. Okay, Bottle Baby, land border crossing into Thailand will only yield a 2-week stamp if you abuse this or not. Border guard may not let you in. I guess you could fly back into Thailand if land border crossing. You better make sure you know what you're doing before you cross borders. If you're planning on coming back into Thailand, whatever, you better make sure you know what you're doing. Who's that? Uncle Monty. Just watched a video of you eating a nice curry by the sea. Looked heavenly, mate. I think you're talking about the duck curry in Kai Bay. Yeah, well, that was lovely. And the weather was really lovely. That was a beautiful environment. Lovely environment. Everything explodes. After that mermaid vlog, I ended up watching Jason the Argonaut again. Strange things. I mean, I have this movie obsession. Strange things come to my mind. Strange things. But Jason, I must have watched that movie about 20 times when I was a kid. I'd still watch it even now. I mean, Ray Harryhausen special effects, and it had a wonderful cast. That Jason, the guy who played Jason, was a fellow called Todd Armstrong. Now, he's not an actor I know from other parts, but Jesus, he was a handsome bastard. He was, I've never seen any fellow looking so good wearing a skirt. I really, really haven't. He was a handsome guy, Todd Armstrong. And I think they had Nigel Green playing Hercules. And the goddess lady in the sky, Honor Blackman. What a gorgeous. I think she Honor Blackman, she was a MILF before anyone even knew what the word MILF meant. Oh my, wonderful movie. So I'm glad everything explored. Okay, good for you, mate. I think you can actually still get Jason and the Argonauts on YouTube. Wonderful. Let me see now. It is something. Jackie Barabach. Philippines is safer as long as you stay away from the southern islands. Okay. Now, I actually have a friend back in England, an Italian friend, and he got stranded in the Philippines, and he was in Mindanao. Yeah. Okay. And basically, I think he missed his flight back because of the pandemic. They cancelled the flights, and he tried to get his money back in the flight, and the money back in the flight, they wouldn't give him his money back, the insurance company, simply because they said that he shouldn't have been there anyway, because he was advised not to go to Mindanao. So they wouldn't pay out for that reason. He was in a part of the Philippines where travelers are advised not to go. So thanks for that info anyway, mate. I'm with a couple of nice little super chats there, so I'm gonna skip through this, but I'm miles behind with this. You're absolutely bloody miles behind. I've got to skip forward. Miles behind. Okay, Mark Oleg. Mark, that's a really generous super chat. Thank you, Mark. Cheers for that, mate. Cheers for that. Good seeing you live again, Steady Eddie. I very much enjoy and appreciate what you show and talk about in your videos. I saw you yesterday on one of the Thai video bloggers live streams. Here is something for the old travel fund. Cheers. Okay, Mark, thanks for that. $75 US. I really, really do appreciate that. That'll go towards my flight wherever I'm going to next. I hope all's well with you, mate, anyway. Mark is in Minnesota as well, where it's very, very cold there. So, good luck to you anyway. Let's go to a lovely place. But it's anyway. I'm gonna waffle. I'm gonna skip through this anyway. Tom Red FM. I think that's about football, isn't it? That's a thank you for that super chat. $17.99. I appreciate that, mate. Okay, I appreciate that. Really, it's very generous of you. Let's see. Who's this? David Coleman. Hi, Eddie from cold Toronto. Yeah, Canada. Northern America. I'm sure there's lots of places which are really, really. I'm sure it's really, really freezing cold. I've never been there personally. I'd love to see those places. I'd love to see, the heart of America, places like Minnesota. I've never actually found my way to that part of the world, but I would, I'd love to visit it. But yeah, I can imagine it'd be bloody cold. Absolutely. The third man. I hope you're okay, Eddie. Keep it a good work, mate. Thanks for that, mate. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. David Coleman. When I was a kid, I think David Coleman is English, but he lives in Canada. When I was a kid, I always remember the skeletons popping out of the ground. That was the best part. Jason the Argonauts. That was a wonderful movie. I mean, you also had Neptune. That wonderful moment of Neptune where they're going, on the Argonaut boat, through the clashing rocks, and all of a sudden Neptune comes out of the waters and parts holds the rocks back so they can get the boat in. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Also, another movie which Jason the Argonaut has actually done the rounds with at the cinema. It was a film called Mysterious Island, and that was another film which featured Ray Harryhausen. Special effects. It was filmed around about the same time as Jason the Argonaut. Both of those movies absolutely superb. They have all these wonderful monsters and everything. And even if you're as an adult, you could probably still enjoy those movies even now. Let's see. Charlie Carter, Eddie, booking Thailand for Songkran, so far being quoted 745, including hotel for 5 nights. Thoughts? Well, that sounds great. If that includes hotel for 5 nights, that sounds all right. I'd say that. Is that a return ticket from the UK or somewhere? Yeah, a return ticket, 745, including hotel for 5 nights. Well, that isn't bad. Oh, let me see now. Richard Evans, hope little Eddie is still enjoying himself and not lying in intensive care. All the best, Big Ed. No, little Eddie is alive and well. Let's just say that, alive and well. As some lovely, I have got witnesses as well. Some lovely ladies in Pattaya can go witness for that. They'll be the first to tell you. Little Eddie is a bit of a superstar. Mark Alec, currently it is above 13 degrees Fahrenheit. 13 degrees, well, it's still very, very cold, isn't it? 13 Celsius will be all right, but 13 Fahrenheit, that's very, very cold. So, obviously you're probably very, very used to it. The cold, I could choose between the cold and the rain. I can actually handle the cold because you just wrap up well, so it's, but the rain, the rain's the thing I don't like very much. We've got rain here in Thailand now, but hopefully it'll be gone soon. But keep warm, mate, anyway. The Lost King of Scotland, what's your opinion on ladyboys? Ever tried one? No, I'd be buggered if I tried one of them. No, I didn't mean that. Ladyboys, I'd say what ladyboys, you become broad-minded. I think I've said this before, but when I first seen ladyboys, it was a bit shocked. I thought they looked kind of absurd. Well, but then when you get to know that ladyboys is a phenomenon in Thailand, it's you get ladyboys who work in places like Central Festival, shopping malls or banks. I've seen them working, other jobs other than the adult entertainment industry. Then okay, if you like that sort of thing, then that's fine. But remember, ladyboys are men at the end of the day. They are men. They're not, they may look over the top and whatever, but the idea of actually getting one, there's little things. I mean, I've encountered a few ladyboys in some of the certain places. There's one that worked in one of the bars down there, and they were really, really, really good people. Really good people. I liked it. But there's certain things that turn you off, ladyboys, in a moment. When you're passing along Sober Cow in the early hours of the morning, and they're shouting, sort of abusive sexual comments at you, it's not very nice. And also, I was in one bar. I think this was Sober Cow. A couple of years ago, I was sitting in one bar, nice little bar, and the next door was a ladyboy bar. And all of a sudden, there was music going in there, and one ladyboy got on the table and started dancing. A little skirt on, and okay, that sounds like sounds like a bit of fun. But then she pulls his skirt up, and the next thing I know, he was dancing with all these bloody dangly bits hanging. Oh God, no. They're blokes, mate. They're blokes. Not for me, mate. No offense to anyone else who likes it, but not for me. Let me see. I'm not going to put that comment there, Nick Ross, because Cambodia is very, very sensitive about that issue of the killing field. So I don't want to go there. Let's see. Cats and Good Coffee. Ed, watch the movie Cesario if you like good action. Do you know something? I have Netflix on this laptop. I have Netflix and I have Amazon. And I went back in the UK, I watched it, because I plug it into the TV and watch it on a big screen. But I haven't actually got around to seeing any movies since I've been here. I'm always doing other things of a night. I just haven't got around to watching any movies. Let's see. Up to me, Songkran is cancelled this year, mate. I've never actually been in Thailand during Songkran. I've seen videos of it, and everyone's throwing water at each other. What's the bloody point? I don't want to. I don't need to on this. Let's see. Colo, you should have been a film critic, Eddie. Absolutely, I should. I have a good knowledge. I've been a film fan since I was a kid. Maybe one of these nights. I wouldn't mind doing a live stream about. I'd have to get the images on screen about what I consider to be the greatest year ever in the history of movies. A year when so many of the best films were made. Might do that some night if I think anyone's going to be interested. Let's see. Gavin Kidd. Songkran's not cancelled, but the large gatherings will be, I think. Do you know what? I don't know about Songkran, but I have heard that in the month of March, there's going to be some regular music festivals down here in Pattaya. But I don't know if I'm going to be here in March. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Steph Travesty. Okay, let's just have a little. Yeah, this is interesting. Red Farang. Hey, Eddie. Warringtonian here. I'm in Phuket now. Average girl tonight asked for 7,000 baht plus bar fine. Can't wait to Pattaya next week if PCR goes well. Do you need a PCR to go from? You don't need a PCR to go from Phuket to Pattaya, do you? Not as far as I know. I wasn't aware. And I don't think you do really. But 7,000 plus baht. That's bloody awful. 7,000 baht. What is that in English money? That's 7,000 baht is about bloody 200 quid. There. Oh, sod that for the game, soldiers. I tell you what, if anyone pays that much, then you better make damn sure that you perform well. You know, absolutely. You make sure that you rise to the occasion. That sounds like an absolute rip-off, that is. Scott Fisher, Eddie, what is the score with this Thai passport? Is it 4 PCR tests, 2 HQ hotels, and paperwork to return on to me and the Thai wife coming in April? If you on the return as it stands, it is actually 4 PCR tests overall. It's one before you leave the UK to get here. It's one when you arrive the first night. It's another one 5 days later after you arrive. So that's 3. And it will be one before you leave to go back to the UK. Now, I know people are saying in the UK they don't require a PCR test to enter. But as I understand, you still need to get on that aeroplane. So as far as I know, it is foot. It's one right at the end. So, and if it's you and your wife, well, that's 2 people, and so I suppose it's 8 PCR tests that you've got to get through. Now we all know the story. It's a terrible story, and I don't really like to, but I'll mention it. It's a well-known story of an Australian family who came to Thailand, and there was husband, wife, and a few kids, including I think a 14-year-old girl. And the story goes, and I've heard this a few times, that they were leaving. They had their holiday in Thailand, and they were leaving to go back to Australia. And the 14-year-old girl tested positive on the way out, and they put her for, I think it was 10 days in a quarantine. The thought of putting a child into a quarantine hotel on her own is bloody dreadful. That's dreadful. Well, the family returned to Australia, and I think the father stayed because his daughter was still here, but he wasn't obviously allowed to go into the room to see us. It's awful. It's awful. It's awful. You know, everyone be aware of the stories that are going on about these PCR testing being forced into bloody quarantine hospitals and all this kind of stuff. Please be aware about all of that. Let's see. Okay. Matthew Green. Eddie was watching Thailand Bound Friday, and some trolls were saying that you had a ladyboy. A ladyboy. We all know you're a stud and love the women. Yeah, I am a stud. I'm a stud. I'm an aging stud, but a stud nevertheless. Ladyboy's not for me, mate. Oh, here we go. Bobby Crush. Eddie asked the barmaid for the stiff one, and they brought out an excited ladyboy. Okay, bum. Let's see. We're talking movies now. And Good Cats and Coffee. Have you seen Anna? Awesome action movie. I haven't seen that. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I haven't caught up with. I just haven't had the time for it, really. Sounds strange. I mean, I'm not as if I'm working now, but somehow I just never get the time to watch. I never get the time to watch Netflix or anything. Yeah, revelation of the night. Prepare yourself for this, everyone. Prepare yourself for a dramatic revelation. Dan the man. Hey Ed, ladyboys are actually blokes. Well, I never. Okay, let's see. The Last King of Scotland. What music do you listen to? Well, not really. I'm not part of the music scene, so I don't really listen to much music nowadays. But I used to like the classic rock. I like all sorts of stuff. I like Deep Purple and all the old headbanging, all the old anachronistic headbanging stuff. Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, all that kind of stuff. I loved all of that. I also love Motown. Motown, absolutely everything. The Supremes. I love Motown a lot. Motown is the stuff. As soon as you hear the Motown, it gets you going. The other day, I was in a bar here, and I don't usually use my headphones to listen to music. And I was just listening to Beatles stuff, Sgt. Pepper's and all of that kind of stuff. Still sounds wonderful even today. Check bound movie year. Yes, your movie said, so that would be great. Okay, I will plan that. I'll try and get that one a live stream simply for the movie fans, because there is one year that, as far as I'm concerned, was the greatest year ever in the history of movies. And no, I'm not talking about 1939. 1939 was the classic old Hollywood year when Gone with the Wind and things like that, The Hunchback of Notre Dame or whatever were made. That's the classic, regarded by many as the greatest year ever. The Wizard of Oz was made in that year as well. But in the modern era, I'm talking the last 50 years or so, there is one year that I'm convinced was the greatest year. And I could pick out 10 movies that were made in that year. And I think at the end of it, you may well agree, that was a damn exceptional year. Okay, we'll do something like that. I'll try and get that one sorted. I think it'll be. I think I'd enjoy that. Literacy, tell little Eddie you can buy 3 little blue pills in most pharmacies. I managed 3 ladies. Oh my God, on soy 6 after taking one Indian copy of the real thing. The Indians do some good. They do some good stuff. Jack, if you fail, you can demand a second test because some of the tests are bull crap. I'm not so sure about that. Carlo, great, best British film, Kes. I've seen that with a face. God, that was an eternity ago. I did see that in the pictures donkeys years ago. Let's see. Okay, Ant, is this the guy? And maybe he's doing Phuket Sandbox, Eddie. Okay, yeah, maybe that's correct. Maybe that's the reason that if he leaves Phuket to fly to Pattaya or someone else, he may have to do a PCR test. Maybe that's the reason. Thanks for that, Ant, anyway. Delboy K, 7,000 baht. I would expect their 2 sisters too. Yeah, damn right, mate. Nicely said. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. David Coleman, no ladyboys. Jesus, they are men. End of story. If you do that, whatever, mate. I'm easy. I mean, some of the ones that you see here some of the ones that you see here are fun. Some of them are really eye-catching, glamorous, and they look weird. They look sort of weird and wonderful. I think that's the way. But at the end of the day, they are. But I think some of them have the up, don't they? They have all the bits chopped off, and so. It's up to you. It's up to me. I'm broad-minded. I mean, I'd say what a place like Pattaya makes you more broad-minded. It makes you more broad-minded. But all of the same, with regards to ladyboys, not for me. And yet they are men. They are men at the end of the day. Yeah, Nick Ross. Okay, I didn't put his comments up about the killing fields because that's a sensitive issue. That I don't want to talk about that. Nick Ross, Eddie, you're a tad narrow-minded about your ladyboys. I know some that you would never know. They were once men. I don't know. I think it's the difference. It's the voice. You can't really hide that voice, can you? It's the difference between hello and hello. Yeah, at the end of the day, they're blokes. Let me see now. Okay. Let me. Okay, well, I'll do that one of these nights, maybe this week or whatever. You'll get me out again. We'll do a live stream, especially for especially for the movie fans. I'm pretty sure it will appeal to a few people. Joe Hart, 1976 Taxi Driver, wonderful, wonderful. Robert De Niro, I still think that's the best film that Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro ever made. That was totally groundbreaking stuff. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Daniel Kelly, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. That was a Sam Peckinpah movie, the guy who also made The Wild Bunch. That was a good movie. That was with Warren Oates, and it was set down in Mexico. It was a damn good movie. I think it was a bit of a cult classic. That one I think Chris Christopherson was in that movie somewhere as well. I think Chris Christopherson was in that movie. It was a bloody good movie. That I enjoyed that one. John Godfrey, you have a great taste in music, Eddie. Deep Purple, Child in Time, one of the greatest rock tunes ever. I think it was the album Machine Head. I actually think it was Deep Purple in rock, the one with the faces of the Deep Purple line was set in Mount Rushmore on the. I think that was back as far as 1970. Jesus Christ, that was 52 years ago, and that was so amazing. I mean, from Gillan's voice to Richie Blackmore's incredible guitar, absolutely amazing, wonderful stuff. Let's see, what's that? Let me see now. Let me see. Okay, waffle on. Let's just go back a little bit. Let's just go back a little bit. Paul Hoskin, you can tell if it's a lady by the way they hold it. Okay, make what you please of that one. Nick Ross, Casablanca. I loved Humphrey Bogart, but I always thought that film was a bit overrated. Don't think it was, stood the test. I think Humphrey Bogart was in far better films than that one. The Third Man, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. There's an argument to say that The Third Man was the greatest British movie of all time. 1949. It was set in Vienna. It had Joseph Cotton, Orson Welles, of course, and that wonderful theme tune. What was it played on? That not a ukulele. It was played on something else, wasn't it? Do 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 do. One. I actually went to Vienna many years ago, and I was wandering around. It was around about Christmas time, and it was such a cold and damp. And I was wandering around Vienna, and I didn't think it was the most exciting city. Very opulent, but not the most exciting city. But one thing that I did notice, I seen that big Ferris wheel, and I had to go to see that Ferris wheel. That was featured in that film, The Third Man. Wonderful. 39 Steps, the old Hitchcock movie, great stuff. Lawrence of Arabia, wonderful. Okay, so you got an excellent choice of movies there, Nick Ross. Who's this? Lewis C. Film director of Animal House, Ghostbusters has died. The greatest films, Apocalypse Now. Apocalypse. Do you know something? I watched Apocalypse Now, but I have to say about Apocalypse Now, that is a movie that doesn't get any better the more you see it. The first time I seen it, I thought, wow, it was great. It didn't quite ring the bell. Let me tell you about Apocalypse Now. In the 1970s, the Vietnam War ended. I think it ended. I think the last Americans were lifted out of Saigon in 1975, and that was the end of that. But a few years later, towards the end of the 70s, around about 78, all of a sudden, a lot of films came out about the Vietnam War. None of them were filmed in Vietnam because obviously it was out of bounds. Apocalypse Now was filmed in the Philippines. The Deer Hunter, their scenes were filmed in Thailand. But as for Apocalypse Now, there was a few films that came out around about 78. I think the first one was a film called Boys in Company C. And then there was The Deer Hunter, which won a lot of Oscars. It was a wonderful film and everything. A real tearjerker of a movie, not necessarily entirely believable, but a tearjerker. But I think the thinking was that the movie that they were waiting for, the ultimate hyped Vietnam War movie, was Apocalypse Now. And this movie came out right at the end of 1970. I think it probably came out around about Christmas 1979, around about that time. And it was brilliantly stylish movie, very Francis Ford Coppola, marvelous film director, and of course it had Brando and Martin Sheen, wonderful stuff. But it was one of those movies, the first time I seen it, I thought, I can't really take it all in, I need to see it again. And I watched it a second time and I really enjoyed it. It's better the second time, but I watched it many years later and I thought, for some reason it doesn't quite work, this movie. I thought, it's, if you're really interested in what happens in Vietnam, I don't think that, it's a movie, but I think it's more of a movie about madness, and it's a highly stylized movie. I don't really think it is the authentic Vietnam War movie somehow. But of course, it's a great movie. Go and see it if you've never seen it. Geez, I'm waffling on now. Collar, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Eddie, up there, mate. Wonderful movie, absolutely magnificent. Jack Nicholson, Louise Fletcher, what was his name? Milos Forman. He was the director. He was a Czechoslovakia. I think that was one of the first movies for all main awards to be won. Best actor, actress, director, movie since, for many years before that. Marvelous film, absolutely marvelous film. Let's see, Stephen Foster, Mean Streets. Mean Streets was one of Martin Scorsese's early efforts, and it had Robert De Niro and Harvey Keitel. Great movie, but he didn't have finesse. He didn't have real. It's a great movie to watch, but it looked very raw edged, really. Some would like it for that reason, but I think Scorsese went on to make better movies than that, to be honest with you. Let's see. Yeah, Michael Genais, unless you've had the chop and started treatment young, you can't tell the difference, okay? See, you get a variety on here. One minute I'm talking about Mean Streets and Apocalypse Now. The next minute I'm talking about people having the willies cut off, okay? Okay, Pal 555. Lots of ladyboys have been tired of the Thai box and they've been bashed around the ring enough times. Okay, John Sullivan. Spaghetti westerns were brilliant, absolutely wonderful. Oh, geez, I mean, so wonderful. The Clint Eastwood dollar trial. Oh, let me just tell you something. The dollar trilogy, they go back a long way. The first Fistful of Dollars was actually made in 1964, and for a few dollars more was 65, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was made in 66. Those three movies are often listed as being made in 1967. None of them were made in that year. They were all made before that. Don't forget, Clint was a big hit throughout, Europe. Really, it was a star in Europe. But it was 67 when they were released in Britain and America, and of course, he became an international superstar. Jeez, they were wonderful, absolutely amazing. Paul C. I did meet you, Paul C., didn't I? Paul C. Hi, Eddie. It was good to meet you at the weekend. I thought Elton John was awesome. Absolutely bloody good. Absolutely amazing. Really good, mate. Nice to meet you as well, Paul. Okay, good to meet you. Let me see. It says, somebody just mentioned, I'm going to waffle on a little bit about moving on nearly 2 hours now. This is probably going to be a little bit movie. So, but if people are interested in this, then we'll keep going a little teensy weensy bit longer. Jack Darby, Humphrey Bogart, Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Okay, now I believe he made many movies with that great filmmaker John Huston. The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Wow, what a story to that movie! Absolutely amazing. That is certainly up there with my favourite Humphrey Bogart movies. Obviously, but Bogart is more famous for playing private detectives, that sort of thing. The Treasure of the Sierra Madre is about a group of, out of work guys in the gold rush, of America. And basically, they get together. They're all rough. They're all penniless. They get together and they hear there's gold in the mountains. And basically, they team up and they, look for the gold. But then they all start accusing each other of cheating on each other, and it all becomes very nasty. But in terms of the story of that movie, if you've never seen that one, that is definitely one of the best films that Humphrey Bogart was involved in, and he is absolutely superb. I won't tell you whether he's a hero or a villain in that movie. Go and watch that movie. Check it out, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. And if you've never seen it before, you're probably lucky, because really, I think even to this day, it's one of those movies when you never really know what's coming next. Great movie. Well done, Jack Darby, for suggesting that one. Someone said, Eddie, where's your beer? Never seen you with that one. I've got one in my hand, mate. Just about touched 2 hours, okay? Let's see. Tampa Guy, Bridge on the River Kwai, great movie. It was a great movie. That was made by, I believe, David Lean, who also made Lawrence of Arabia and all of those kind of stuffs. Good movie, but not another personal favourite of mine. This is an interesting one. Uncle Monty, Eddie, what's the thing you wish someone had told you when you were 35? What a strange question. What's the one thing you wish someone had told you when you were 35? I would say, I'll tell you, I wish someone had told me, Eddie, there's something coming your way called Bitcoin. Jump on the bandwagon now before everyone else does. Yeah, that's it. That's what I wish someone had told me. Bottle Baby. Jack Darby, a great Bogart artist. I loved Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey Bogart was the Robert De Niro of his day. Not only was he an amazing actor, but he was involved in so many great movies. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Totally charismatic actor. Love him. Let's see. The Krag 77 and Vietnam shots were filmed in England in the winter. I'm sort of. I think you maybe, I don't know which ones you're talking about there, which movie you're talking about there. But did you know a movie which I thought personally, it wasn't a favourite of mine, one that came much later, Full Metal Jacket by the amazing Stanley Kubrick. He was an American. He filmed a lot of his films in Britain because he seemed to like. I think he lived in Britain for most of his life. But did you know that the Vietnam war scenes in Full Metal Jacket were actually filmed in the East End of London, and I think it might have been Pinewood Studios or somewhere like that. It's not actually one of my favourite movies, I must admit. Yeah, a bit of smut here. Paul Hoskin, imagine John Wayne and Soy Cowboy riding his horse. Okay, whatever. They're probably influenced by John Wayne. They probably like John Wayne there. Jacket, Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, I thought that was a bit overrated. Funny enough, they had a lot of Vietnam War movies at the end of the 70s, and then they sort of phased out. But Platoon was a much better movie that came out in the mid 80s. Okay, Paul Hoskin, Bar Girls and the Seven Dwarfs. Okay, sounds like a good movie. That sounds like a bloody porn, but that sounds like a 70s ex-certificate skin flick movie. They went through a phase in the 1970s, didn't they, where they made ex-certificate versions of fairy tales. There was adult fairy tales. There was the erotic adventures of Pinocchio. There was the other Cinderella. She is, isn't it? Clint Eastwood later done Crime Macho. Was just out. He stars and directs at 90. What a great star! I actually think he's more than 90, mate. I actually think he's. I think he's 91. I think he's coming up to 92 pretty soon. Jeez, what an amazing career Clint has had. What an amazing career. Good for him, mate. A nomad overseas. Yeah, we're getting deep into movies now. Ed, are you a fan of the Sam Peckinpah films? The Wild Bunch was brilliant. I actually think that I am a fan. I actually think that the Wild Bunch, that was a movie that was made in 1969, and it become notorious for its slow motion violence. And I actually think that the Wild Bunch, other than the Clint Eastwood spaghetti western, the Wild Bunch is probably the greatest western ever made. It featured so many of those old great old actors: William Holden, Ernest Borgnine, Robert Ryan, Ben Johnson. But there was no glamour. Years later, you had things like Young Guns, where pretty boy actors. These were real actors, and they were. It seemed believable simply because they were a gang of outlaws who were prepared to shoot innocent people if they had to, in order to rob banks. Marvelous movie. I actually think of something like The Wild Bunch. It never won any awards, as far as I know, simply because it was controversial at the time, because of the explicit violence. I actually think if that movie was made in this day and age, it'd probably win about 10 Oscars. Absolutely wonderful movie. Expat Pete. How difficult is it for you to end your current visa for another month? I don't know, mate. I really don't know. I don't know, really. I've already done it at immigration office, but whether I could do it for a third month, I don't know. I think I would have to use an agent, to be honest with you. John Godfrey, so many great cowboy movies to choose from, but top of the list for me was Outlaw Josie Wales. Well, I love that one. Marvelous film, absolutely marvelous. Paul Hoskin, dirty, smutty Paul Hoskin, Beauty and the Filthy Beast. He's coming to go make some X certificate movies, Paul. Oh yeah, that was a good title, actually, what he came up with. The Third Man. You should go on Mastermind, Ed. I've been on Mastermind. I actually did go on Mastermind years ago. Magnus Magnuson was sitting in that, in his chair, and I went and sat there, with my chosen subject of movies, and as I sat opposite Magnus Magnuson, I started having a wank, and Magnus Magnuson said, "Can you stop that, please, Mr. Sweeney?" I said, "I've started to finish." Okay, there you go. Some people will understand that one. Jack Derby, Sam Peckinpah, The Getaway. That was a bloody good movie. That was excellent. Steve McQueen and Ali McGraw. That was one. That was before Steve McQueen. Actually, I think he got, he lost his star status after that. I think he got fat. I think he got overweight. But that's a bloody good movie. That. Ron Jeremy, great actor. Yeah, I don't think it's his acting ability that people actually like him for. Let's see, Carter's. When you got to shoot, don't talk. Best line ever. I think that's from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, isn't it? When Eli Wallach's in the bath and some knobhead comes in like, "Oh, I remember you," and starts waffling. Absolutely. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly has some really quite amazing lines in it. Absolutely wonderful. Let's see, Cats and Good Coffee. A documentary that is a must-watch if you're into Thailand is My Thai Bride, where a guy from Wales gets scammed and dumped. I haven't seen that one. Do you know something? Before I forget, I did once watch a documentary on the BBC about English guys who go to Thailand, go to Bangkok and Thailand, and bring their women back from Thailand back home. And I do remember there was all kinds of really quite funny scenes in this documentary, and there was an embassy scene, a British embassy scene, in Bangkok, and the lady was interviewing a Farang who'd been robbed, and the woman at the embassy said, to the guy, and did you have insurance? And the guy replied, no, I did not have insurance. And, and it just made me, in her own words, she said the problem with a lot of guys who come unstuck in Thailand is that when they pack the luggage to come out here, they leave their brains at home. There probably is a lot of truth about that. But there was another scene in that movie with this, and I thought it was hilarious. There was one guy, a very, very old guy, who had a nice house in some northern part. Might have been, I don't know, might have been Lancashire or somewhere like that. But he had a lovely, lovely house, and he said, when I get my Thai wife to come over there, the first thing I'm going to show her is my house. And basically, he brought her over, and she found that England was very, very cold. But, it was true love. It convinced the authorities that it was true love, and he brought it over here. But I think that at the end of that documentary, the filmmaker was really taking the mickey somehow, because he was asked sometime later, what is the benefit of having a Thai wife? The guy said, oh, she'll do everything. She'll clean the room. She'll do everything for me. She'll shower me. She'll wash me down. She'll do everything for me. And then they started filming the Thai woman doing all these things for their old husbands, and they filmed her cleaning and whatever, and then they filmed her putting the double glazing in the windows, and then they filmed it underneath the car. She's a car mechanic now, repairing it. Like, hang on a minute. Someone's taking the piss. Thai girls, when you bring them home, they may clean your room, they may do your laundry. I don't think they mend your car, and I don't think they put the double glazing in. I really don't. Someone was taking the pedal there. Okay. We've got about 2 hours and 10 minutes now. Yogi Bear is mentioned. Cool Hand Luke. Do you know, wonderful movie. As far as I know, Paul Newman was a great actor. I love Cool Hand Luke. He was marvelous in that, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and maybe The Sting. But I don't really think a lot of his other movies were that memorable. I mean, other than the ones I just mentioned. I think he made more arty movies, didn't he? Sort of that sort of stuff. But he was a wonderful actor, and that was a great film. Del Boy K. Eddie, it's still very early to get into Bitcoin and crypto in general. Early. Oh, well, it might well go, but what's the future of this? I still don't know. See, the way I see it is that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, the way I see it, I personally think it is the inflatable doll of currency. It looks real. It may even talk real. It may even feel real. But at the end of the day, it's not real. It's not real currency. But that's just my opinion. Colo, he knows his stuff, Eddie. Okay, thanks for that comment. Bobby Cross Zulu. Zulu's a marvelous. Oh my God, that's a fantastic movie. That's one of the most awesome movies of all time, and that's had a certain effect on people. I remember many years ago there was a story in the newspaper that some guy had watched Zulu more than 300 times, and he'd actually lost his girlfriend and whatever because she got fed up watching this movie. He was so obsessed with the movie. And then a few days later, somebody wrote into the paper and said, 300 times, that's nothing. I've watched it 700 times. It is one of the greatest films ever. And I think that was the one that established Michael Caine's, established Michael Caine's star quality. Del Boy K, Clint will be 92 this year. He is 92 at the end of May. I actually think his birthday is May the 31st. He will be 92, May the 31st. God bless him. Brilliant. He'll outlive a lot of us. Anthony Reid, Good Morning Vietnam. Yeah, damn good movie. Robin Williams was a brilliant comedian. Red Wing, Two Mule for Sister Sarah. That is regarded as not one of the best films that Clint was ever in. It was also made by Don Siegel, who he collaborated with on Dirty Harry and various other films. But it's wonderful. I enjoyed it. It's one of the more light-hearted of Clint Eastwood westerns. It had Shirley MacLaine in it as well. That's it. Up to me, Ed. No problem. Get one more month on your visa. It's possible. It's possible. We'll have to see about that. We'll have to see about that. Craig Robinson, Once Upon a Time in the West, 1969. Amazing Western. Absolutely fantastic. Charles Bronson, Henry Fonda, wonderful stuff. Jason Robards, marvelous. Okay. Now, somebody, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for it. D-Mark has mentioned the Dirty Dozen, okay? And some people would like to know if I actually had the Dirty Dozen yet. Well, I don't do numbers anymore. If it feels good, do it. I don't count movies. I've never heard that before, Edward Butler. Never ever heard that before. Bogart quoted, I gave up drinking once. It was the worst afternoon of my entire life. That's bloody good. I honestly say that I've never ever heard that before. But that's pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. Well, I'll tell you what, on that note, I'm going to pour myself a drink. I'm going to pour myself a nice little old Samsung and Delilah. There's still more than 300 people in the chat. So, I'll get together. We'll do a movie night, one for the movie fans. It's just my opinion, but there is one year, and yet it is in the 1970s. 1 year that simply had the greatest quantity of amazing classic movies. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Spitz End there for you, mate. Personally, I think The Sting was one of the best movies ever. Also, probably because nice to hear from me. The Sting was a great movie. It was a great movie. Very, very. I think that is actually a film that I liked it better the more that I've seen it. Personally, I actually think I wasn't too keen the first time I seen it, but marvelous film. Michael Janae's High Plains Drifter, great stuff, great stuff. Do you know something? My comment about High Plains Drifter. Clint play it's a mysterious movie that because Clint plays this, the reincarnation of a dead sheriff or deputy, who comes back from the dead, and it's very, very much filmed in a spaghetti western sort of. Even though it was an American movie, which was directed by Clint himself, that was one of his first efforts to film direct. I've actually seen a documentary with the amazing Sergio Leone, who of course made all those masterpiece spaghetti westerns with Clint, and I always got the feeling that there was a little bit of a rift between. I don't think they got on well together. I seen a documentary some years later when Sergio Leone was asked what he thought of Clint and his movies, and he said that he saw High Plains Drifter and he didn't like it. And I think I have my own opinions on this. I think Clint, they were undoubtedly the spaghetti western were the movies that made Clint a star. But I think, I don't think they're his favourite movies, really, because they were not American movies and they weren't his own movies. Don't forget, when he returned back to America, the first thing he'd done was set up his own production company called Malpaiso. So I don't think Clint was really as keen on those spaghetti westerns as what you might think. And I don't really think that, for interviews that I've seen, that him and Leone actually got on all that well together. Don't forget, Clint was not the first choice for those spaghetti westerns. Now, I've heard a variety of actors, but who do you think was the actor? Those spaghetti westerns, A Fistful of Dollars. Who do you think was the actor who they were set up for? Who they had in mind? Anyone? There's a number of people. Let's see. Lewis say, when you retire, you should do a bar movie quiz. When you retire, you should do a bar movie quiz. Never seen a quiz in Pattaya. I've seen one. When I first arrived in Pattaya many, many years ago, there's all kinds of, there's women all over the place. There's girls dragging you into bars to give you a bit of a what-do-we-call-it under the counter. Amazing stuff. And then I went into an English pub and they were doing a bloody pub quiz there, and I thought, boring bastards. Okay, now the actor who A Fistful of Dollars was a low budget Italian, German, Spanish production with an Italian composer, an Italian director. I think Diamond Hands is saying that Henry Fonda was the Hollywood actor who it was set up for. Jackie Chan, are you saying Lee Marvin? Are you saying it was Lee Marvin that it was set up for? Clint was the second, because Clint was not an established movie. Clint was not an established movie. Hang on a minute. Clint was not an established movie star. He was a TV actor. He wasn't even the star of something called Rawhide. So I've heard who was the actor that was originally intended to play in the part in A Fistful of Dollars and those other movies. I've heard Henry Fonda. I've never heard Lee Marvin before, but I've heard Charles Bronson. I've heard I don't think it was any of those. I've heard from the director himself, because I've seen an interview, it was James Coburn. When you think about it, Clint is absolutely perfect in those Fistful of Dollar movies. Total star quality. Absolutely brilliant in them. But he wasn't the first choice. When you think about it, there is only one actor really who it could be written for, and it was James Coburn. He was, the interview that I see with Sergio Leone, he said that they wanted James Coburn to play in those movies, but he was too expensive. Don't forget, James Coburn had already been in The Magnificent Seven and other. He was already an established Hollywood actor, and he could command a big fee, and he was simply too expensive. And that's why Clint was the cheaper alternative. Clint was the cheaper alternative. Let's see. Yeah, James and Poppycone. Yeah, that's right. James Coburn was in Fistful of Dynamite years later, after the spaghetti westerns had sort of peaked out and they lost a bit of their popularity. So I think the director obviously had affection with Coburn. It was a great star, but he was actually the one who was intended for those movies. No doubt about it. Anyway, listen, I've waffled on now. I've waffled on for 2 hours and 20 minutes. Jesus Christ almighty. I think I always say in these live streams, don't I? I'm sure I always say in them, this is just a brief one tonight, and they end up going on and on and on and on. I'm in a hotel room in the early hours of the morning in Pattaya. Listen, everybody, there will be more vlogs coming. I was going to film a few videos, various things, but the weather's held me back a bit. It's not ideal beach weather here right now, but it's still lovely and warm, and I'm having a good time here in Pattaya. I'm enjoying myself, okay? So listen, thanks for your company, wherever you are. Have a lovely day, a lovely evening, or whatever you're doing right now, and I'll see you in the next one, okay? Cheers. Now let's hope that I can end this. Let me just have a little bit of Samsung. Okay. Let's just see, right to the end of the chat. I'll go back to the end of the chat, and then I'll finish this one. God almighty, this has gone on for a long time. Okay, let's see. Okay, thank you to everybody. I'll see you soon. Cheers.